It was a crisp autumn afternoon when Marcus first saw her, Evelyn. She stood at the edge of Central Park, her auburn hair catching the golden sunlight as she laughed with friends. In that moment, time froze for Marcus. It wasn't just attraction. It felt like destiny had whispered his name into her smile. He knew then, without a shadow of doubt, that Evelyn was meant to be his forever. Their love story began with a whirlwind romance. From their first date under the stars at an outdoor jazz concert to late-night conversations about dreams and fears, they were inseparable. 2 years later, surrounded by family and friends, they exchanged vows in a small chapel overlooking the Hudson River. Their marriage became the envy of everyone who knew them, a perfect blend of passion, trust, and devotion. But life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. One day, Marcus stumbled upon something that shattered his world. A text message on Evelyn's phone from someone named Daniel. The words were innocent enough, but the tone suggested intimacy far beyond friendship. As Marcus grappled with disbelief, anger, and heartbreak, he realized this discovery would change everything. What happened next shocked not only him, but everyone around him. What did Marcus do after uncovering the truth? And how could their once perfect love survive such betrayal? Let's dive deeper into a tale of love, loss, redemption, and hope. Marcus Harper had always been a man of purpose. Growing up in Brooklyn, he learned early on that life didn't hand out second chances easily. By the time he turned 30, Marcus had built a successful tech startup from scratch, a testament to his relentless drive and ambition. But despite his professional achievements, there was one area of his life where success eluded him: love. He dated here and there, but nothing ever felt quite right. Deep down, Marcus believed that true love wasn't something you searched for. It found you when you least expected it. That belief was put to the test one crisp autumn afternoon in Central Park. Marcus had just wrapped up a long day of meetings and decided to clear his head with a walk through the park. As he strolled along the winding paths, his attention was suddenly drawn to a group of people gathered near the Bethesda fountain. Among them stood a woman who seemed to glow under the golden sunlight filtering through the trees. Her auburn hair cascaded over her shoulders, catching the light like fire. She laughed at something someone said, her smile radiant enough to stop anyone in their tracks. For a moment, Marcus forgot how to breathe. It wasn't just her beauty. It was the way she carried herself, exuding warmth and confidence. Something inside him stirred, a feeling he couldn't ignore. Before he could talk himself out of it, he walked over to the group. "Excuse me," he said, addressing the woman directly. "I know this might sound crazy, but I feel like I've been waiting my whole life to meet you." The woman blinked, startled but amused. "Well, that's certainly bold," she replied, her voice melodic and teasing. "Do you always approach strangers like this?" "Only the ones who catch my eye," Marcus shot back with a nervous grin. She laughed again, and Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. After some light banter, they introduced themselves. Her name was Evelyn Carter, and exchanged numbers. What started as a chance encounter quickly blossomed into something extraordinary. Over the next few weeks, Marcus and Evelyn spent every possible moment together. Their dates were magical, filled with laughter and deep conversations about everything from childhood dreams to future aspirations. They discovered shared passions for art, travel, and music, bonding over late-night jazz concerts and lazy Sunday mornings watching classic films. Within months, they moved in together, creating a home filled with warmth and joy. Friends often remarked on how perfect they were for each other, and Marcus couldn't agree more. Evelyn brought out a side of him he hadn't known existed, gentler, more open, and unafraid to dream. For her part, Evelyn admired Marcus's determination and kindness, finding comfort in his steady presence. But even in paradise, shadows can creep in unnoticed. One evening, while looking for his charger in Evelyn's purse, Marcus stumbled upon her unlocked phone. A single unread message caught his eye. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, Evie. You're all I think about." The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Who was this person? And why did the tone feel so intimate? Marcus stared at the screen, his mind racing. Was this just harmless flirting, or was there something more going on? His heart ached with confusion and betrayal. How could the woman he loved, the woman he planned to spend the rest of his life with, keep secrets from him. As the weight of the discovery settled over him, Marcus realized his world would never be the same again. But what should he do now? Confront Evelyn immediately? Or give her a chance to explain? The questions swirled in his mind, leaving him torn between anger and hope. For days, Marcus couldn't shake the image of that text message from his mind. It replayed in an endless loop, each word cutting deeper than the last. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, Evie. You're all I think about. Who is this person? What did they mean to Evelyn? And most importantly, how long had this been going on behind his back? He tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was innocent, just a friend being overly familiar. But no matter how hard he pushed those thoughts away, doubt lingered like a shadow he couldn't escape. Every glance at Evelyn felt heavy with unanswered questions. Did she know how much pain she was causing him by keeping secrets? Or worse, did she not care? Finally, unable to bear the silence any longer, Marcus decided to confront her. One evening after dinner, he asked her to sit down. His heart pounded as he pulled out her phone, showing her the message. "Evelyn," he began, his voice trembling, "we need to talk." Her eyes widened in shock as she read the screen. For a brief moment, guilt flickered across her face before she masked it with defensiveness. "Who are you to snoop through my phone?" she snapped, tears welling up in her eyes. "Yes, I've been talking to Daniel. He's an old college friend, but nothing's happened." Marcus wanted to believe her. He desperately wanted to trust that this was just a misunderstanding. But the seed of doubt had already taken root, and it grew with every passing second. Over the next few weeks, tension simmered between them. Conversations became strained, arguments erupted over trivial matters, and the once effortless connection they shared seemed to vanish overnight. Friends noticed the strain and urged Marcus to seek counseling. "You two are meant for each other," his best friend, Ryan, told him one night over coffee. "Don't let this destroy what you have without trying to fix it." But deep down, Marcus feared it might already be too late. Sleepless nights became his norm as he wrestled with conflicting emotions. Anger, sadness, betrayal, and a stubborn hope that their love could survive this storm. One particularly restless evening, he sat down with a pen and paper, pouring his heart out in a letter to Evelyn. "Evelyn," he wrote, his hand shaking slightly, "I don't even know where to begin. When I met you, I thought I'd found my forever. You were everything I ever dreamed of. A partner, a confidant, my greatest joy. But lately, I feel like I'm losing you." That message, it broke something inside me. I don't know if I can move past it unless we face it together. When Evelyn read the letter the next morning, she broke down. For the first time since the discovery, she admitted the truth. Not just about Daniel, but about herself. "Yes, I've grown close to him," she confessed, her voice choked with emotion. "No, nothing physical has happened. But emotionally, I crossed a line. I didn't mean to hurt you, Marcus. I swear." Her words hit Marcus like a tidal wave. On one hand, relief washed over him knowing she hadn't been unfaithful physically. But on the other hand, the emotional betrayal stung just as sharply. How could she let things get so far? Why hadn't she come to him when she started feeling distant? Despite the pain, Marcus agreed to try. Together, they sought therapy, determined to rebuild what they'd lost. Their counselor, Dr. Patel, encouraged them to dig deep into the roots of their issues. Evelyn revealed that she'd felt neglected amidst Marcus's busy schedule, craving attention and validation she wasn't getting. Meanwhile, Marcus admitted fearing failure in their relationship, which made him withdraw emotionally during stressful times. These revelations weren't easy to hear, but they laid the groundwork for healing. Slowly, they began reconnecting. Date nights returned, infused with deeper conversations. Evelyn surprised Marcus with handwritten notes tucked into his briefcase, reminding him of their love. Marcus, in turn, made efforts to prioritize her needs, carving out quality time despite his hectic workload. Yet doubts still lingered. Late at night, when Evelyn fell asleep beside him, Marcus would lie awake, staring at the ceiling. Could he truly forgive her? Would their love ever feel the same again? These questions haunted him, threatening to undo all the progress they'd made. One evening, overwhelmed by emotion, Marcus decided to revisit the place where their love story began, Central Park. Walking along the familiar paths, he found himself standing beneath the same tree where they'd first met. Memories flooded back. The nervous excitement, the instant connection, the promise of forever. Tears filled his eyes as he realized how far they'd come, and how much farther they still had to go. As he stood there, lost in thought, Evelyn appeared beside him. She took his hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "I'm sorry, Marcus," she whispered. "For everything. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right." Marcus looked at her, searching her eyes for sincerity. In that moment, he realized their journey wasn't over. It was just beginning anew. Therapy sessions became a lifeline for Marcus and Evelyn. Guided by their counselor, Dr. Patel, they began unpacking years of unspoken frustrations and insecurities. Each session felt like peeling back layers of an onion. Painful at times, but necessary for healing. Evelyn confessed feeling neglected amidst Marcus's demanding schedule, while Marcus admitted fearing failure in their relationship, which made him emotionally distant during stressful periods. These revelations weren't easy to hear, but they were crucial. For the first time, they truly understood each other's pain. Evelyn explained how lonely she'd felt when Marcus buried himself in work, leaving her craving connection. "I didn't mean to turn to Daniel," she said softly, tears streaming down her face. "But I missed you, Marcus. I missed us." Marcus listened intently, his heart breaking all over again, not just for himself, but for her. He realized that their struggles weren't about betrayal alone. They were symptoms of deeper issues they'd ignored for too long. Determined to fix things, he vowed to be more present, not just physically, but emotionally. Slowly, they began reconnecting. Date nights returned, but this time they were different. Instead of rushing through meals or watching movies in silence, they talked, really talked. They shared fears, dreams, and memories, rediscovering the intimacy that had once defined their relationship. Evelyn surprised Marcus with handwritten notes tucked into his briefcase, little reminders of her love. One read, "You're my forever, Marcus. Thank you for fighting for us." Marcus, in turn, made conscious efforts to prioritize Evelyn. He started leaving work earlier, setting boundaries with clients, so he could spend quality time with her. On weekends, they explored New York City together, revisiting places that held special meaning for them. The jazz club where they'd had their first date, the bookstore where they'd spent rainy afternoons browsing shelves. These moments helped reignite the spark between them, reminding them why they'd fallen in love in the first place. Still, doubts lingered. Late at night, when Evelyn fell asleep beside him, Marcus would lie awake, staring at the ceiling. Memories of the text message haunted him, whispering insidious questions. Was she truly committed to fixing things? Or was she merely going through the motions? To combat these thoughts, he threw himself into creative projects. A painting inspired by their wedding day, a playlist of songs that reminded him of their happiest moments. Creating something tangible gave him a sense of control, a way to channel his emotions constructively. Meanwhile, Evelyn worked tirelessly to prove her loyalty. She deleted Daniel's number, blocked him on social media, and even invited Marcus to join her weekly coffee catch-ups with girlfriends. Though progress was slow, their bond grew stronger with each passing week. Friends noticed the change, commenting on how much happier they seemed. "You two are glowing again," Ryan told Marcus one evening. "Whatever you're doing, keep it up." But challenges remained. One evening, while scrolling through Instagram, Marcus accidentally stumbled upon a photo of Evelyn and Daniel from months ago. The caption read, "Miss these days." Panic surged within him. Had she lied about cutting ties? Was she still in contact with Daniel? Confronted with the photo, Marcus felt rage bubbling inside. But instead of lashing out, he chose calm over confrontation. Sitting Evelyn down, he simply asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" Tears streamed down Evelyn's face as she explained. The photo was taken before she ended things with Daniel, and she hadn't thought to delete it. While her explanation made sense, Marcus struggled to reconcile past actions with present promises. Doubt gnawed at him, threatening to undo all the progress they'd made. Dr. Patel encouraged them to focus on transparency moving forward. Together, they implemented new boundaries. No secrets, no hidden phones, and regular check-ins about their emotional states. These steps helped restore some semblance of normalcy, though scars remained. One pivotal moment came during a therapy session when Dr. Patel asked them to write letters to their future selves. Evelyn wrote about her commitment to rebuilding trust, promising never to take Marcus for granted again. Marcus wrote about his hope for a renewed relationship, vowing to be more attentive and supportive. As they read their letters aloud, tears filled both their eyes. For the first time in months, they felt a glimmer of hope, a fragile but undeniable belief that their love could survive anything. The discovery of the old photo with Daniel continued to weigh heavily on Marcus. Though Evelyn had explained it away as a relic from the past, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was still more she wasn't telling him. Every time his mind wandered, he found himself replaying scenarios in his head. What if she hadn't been entirely truthful? What if Daniel was still lurking somewhere in the shadows of their lives? Determined not to let paranoia consume him, Marcus decided to address his fears head-on. One evening after dinner, he sat Evelyn down on their couch. "Evelyn," he began, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability, "I need to ask you something." She looked at him, her expression softening as she sensed the seriousness in his tone. "Of course, Marcus. What is it?" "That picture I saw online, the one with Daniel," he said, pausing to gather his thoughts. "It made me wonder, are you really done with him?" "Completely." Evelyn's eyes widened, and for a moment, she seemed caught off guard. Then, taking a deep breath, she reached for his hand. "Marcus, I know I've hurt you, and I hate myself for it. But I swear to you, I ended things with Daniel months ago. That photo was taken before we even started therapy. I should have deleted it, but honestly, I didn't think about it until now." Her words hung in the air, heavy with sincerity. Marcus searched her face, looking for any sign of deception. All he saw was regret and love. Still, doubt lingered like a stubborn stain he couldn't scrub clean. Dr. Patel encouraged them to lean into transparency during their next session. "Trust isn't rebuilt overnight," she reminded them gently. "It takes consistent effort and communication. If something feels unresolved, talk about it openly." Taking this advice to heart, Marcus and Evelyn implemented new rituals to foster honesty. They began sharing their phones freely, not out of suspicion, but as a gesture of openness. Evelyn invited Marcus to sit beside her while she scrolled through social media, showing him messages and photos without hesitation. In return, Marcus shared snippets of his day, ensuring she never felt left out or ignored again. These small acts of vulnerability helped chip away at the walls between them. Over time, Marcus noticed a shift, not just in Evelyn, but in himself. He stopped obsessing over the past and started focusing on the present. Their renewed connection became evident in subtle ways. The way Evelyn rested her head on his shoulder during movie nights, the way Marcus held her hand tightly while walking through the park. Love, once fragile, began to bloom again. One evening, Marcus surprised Evelyn with an impromptu trip to Central Park, the place where their love story had begun. As they walked along the familiar paths, memories flooded back. The nervous excitement of their first meeting, the laughter-filled dates that followed, the promise of forever sealed beneath the golden autumn leaves. Standing beneath the same tree where they'd first spoken, Marcus turned to Evelyn, his heart pounding. "Evelyn," he said softly, holding both her hands in his. "I fell in love with you instantly because I saw my future in your eyes. Despite everything we've been through, I still see it." "Do you?" Tears welled up in Evelyn's eyes as she nodded. "I messed up, Marcus. I hurt you in ways I'll regret for the rest of my life. But I'll spend every single day proving to you that I'm worthy of your love. You're my forever too." In that moment, surrounded by the beauty of the park and the weight of their shared history, Marcus felt a profound sense of peace. Forgiveness wasn't easy. It required patience, understanding, and a willingness to let go of resentment. But standing there with Evelyn, he realized that their love wasn't defined by perfection. It was defined by resilience. As they embraced under the starlit sky, Marcus whispered, "We've come so far, Evie. Let's keep going together." Months passed, and Marcus and Evelyn emerged stronger than ever. Their journey had been anything but easy, but it had taught them invaluable lessons about trust, vulnerability, and the true meaning of love. They learned that relationships weren't built on perfection. They were forged through challenges overcome together. and though scars remained, they became reminders of how far they'd come. One evening, as they sat on their balcony watching the sunset paint the New York skyline in hues of orange and pink, Evelyn turned to Marcus with a thoughtful expression. "Do you remember when we first met?" she asked, her voice soft and nostalgic. "How could I forget?" Marcus replied with a smile, his eyes twinkling. "You were standing under that tree, laughing like you didn't have a care in the world. I thought I'd stumbled into a dream." Evelyn chuckled, leaning her head against his shoulder. "I felt the same way about you, like fate had finally caught up with me." Her smile faded slightly as she added, "Even after everything we've been through, I still feel that way. You're my person, Marcus. My forever." Her words stirred something deep within him, a mix of gratitude, love, and awe at how far they'd come. He kissed the top of her head, pulling her closer. "And you're mine, Evie. Always." Their renewed bond wasn't just evident in grand gestures. It shone through in the little things. The way Evelyn left sticky notes on Marcus's laptop reminding him to eat lunch, or how Marcus surprised her with flowers just because. They celebrated milestones together, big and small. Promotions at work, adopting a rescue dog named Luna, and even rekindling old traditions like Sunday morning pancake breakfasts. To honor their hard-earned second chance, Marcus came up with an idea that would symbolize their renewed commitment: a vow renewal ceremony. He broached the topic one night over dinner, nervous but hopeful. "Evie," he began, reaching across the table to take her hand, "what do you think about renewing our vows? Not because we need to prove anything to anyone, but because I want to celebrate us. Our love, our resilience." Tears filled Evelyn's eyes as she nodded. "I'd love that," she whispered. "It feels perfect." The planning process brought them even closer. Together, they chose a serene garden venue overlooking the Hudson River, reminiscent of their wedding day. Friends and family gathered to witness the ceremony, many remarking on how radiant the couple looked, like two people who had weathered storms and emerged unbreakable. On the day of the ceremony, Evelyn walked down the aisle in a simple yet elegant white dress, her auburn hair cascading in loose waves. Marcus stood at the altar, his heart swelling with emotion as he watched her approach. When she reached him, he took both her hands in his, gazing into her eyes with unwavering love. "Evelyn," he said, his voice steady but thick with emotion, "when I first saw you, I knew my life would never be the same. You are my partner, my best friend, my greatest joy. Today, I renew my promise to stand by your side through every high and low, to cherish you always, and to fight for us no matter what." Evelyn's voice trembled as she responded, "Marcus, you are my rock, my safe haven, my forever. I vow to honor and support you, to be open and honest, and to love you with all that I am, for the rest of my life." As they exchanged rings and sealed their promises with a kiss, the crowd erupted in applause. But for Marcus and Evelyn, the moment was theirs alone, a testament to the power of forgiveness, resilience, and unconditional love. In the weeks and months that followed, their relationship continued to flourish. They made a conscious effort to nurture their connection, scheduling regular date nights and weekend getaways. Evelyn started attending Marcus's tech conferences, cheering him on from the sidelines, while Marcus joined Evelyn for yoga classes, laughing at his awkward poses, but enjoying the time spent together. Their journey hadn't erased the pain of the past, but it had transformed it into something beautiful. A reminder that love, when nurtured with care and effort, can overcome even the deepest wounds. Marcus and Evelyn's story is a testament to the enduring power of love. Through betrayal, heartbreak, and healing, they prove that true love isn't about never making mistakes. It's about choosing to forgive, grow, and rebuild together. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs a reminder that love can overcome anything. Subscribe for more inspiring tales of love, life, and redemption. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. Remember, relationships aren't always easy, but they're worth fighting for. Stay connected for more stories that celebrate the beauty of human connection. Until next time, take care.